There comes a moment when the noise fades, when the world outside grows quiet, and in that silence, you hear it. A voice, faint at first, but certain. This is not where you are meant to stop. The camera moves through an empty street at dawn, the first light touching cracked sidewalks, the air still heavy with night. You realize something. The distance between who you are and who you could be is not measured in luck. Storms, but you will never be lost because you're not chasing random opportunities. You're moving towards something that matters to you, something that makes your heart beat faster, something you do even if no one was watching. To find clarity, ask yourself 3 questions. If I stripped away all fear, what would I pursue? If I could only work on one thing for the next 10 years, what would it be? When I'm gone, what do I want to have left behind? The answers aren't always instant. They require honesty. They require you to face yourself without masks. But once you have them, you hold the blueprint to your life. Clarity creates focus, and focus creates power. When you know exactly where you're headed, you stop wasting time on distractions. You stop saying yes to everything. You stop fearing the opinions of people who aren't on your path. Purpose is freedom. 9. Constant learning. Constant learning is the commitment to never stop growing, to never let the knowledge you have today be the limit of who you can become tomorrow. The world is changing faster than ever, and the skills, ideas, and perspectives that brought you this far may not be enough to take you further. Those who rise, adapt, and lead are the ones who treat learning not as a phase of life, but as a lifelong discipline. Most people stop learning the moment they leave school. They think education ends with a diploma, and they spend the rest of their lives recycling the same thoughts, the same skills, the same habits. But those who understand the power of constant learning know that every day is a classroom, and every experience is a lesson if you are willing to pay attention. They read every other part of your life is built. It is the quiet strength that comes from knowing your worth and refusing to compromise it for approval, convenience, or comfort. It is not arrogance and it is not pride. It is the unshakable belief that you deserve to be treated with dignity, first by yourself and then by others. Without self-respect, you will tolerate situations, relationships, and habits that drain you because you believe that is all you are worthy of. With it, you set standards that protect your energy, your time, and your heart. Self-respect is not something you need to keep going, and you need to never stop. Master these principles, and your goals will no longer be distant dreams. They will be inevitable, because discipline is freedom. 6. Control your environment. Your environment is the silent architect of your life. It shapes your thoughts, fuels your habits, and decides, often without your awareness, how high or how low you will go. You may believe you control your choices, but in truth, your surroundings are constantly pulling at you, influencing you, pushing you toward comfort or challenge, discipline or distraction, growth or decay. If you place a strong mind in a weak environment, over time, the environment will win. But if you build a strong environment around yourself, even an uncertain mind will rise. Controlling your environment means taking responsibility for what you allow in, the people, the conversation, the patterns that no longer serve you. And once you make that decision, you will see something powerful. Success becomes easier not because the path changes, but because you are no longer fighting against the constant drag of an environment that pulls you down. Your environment is the ground you stand on every day of your life. Build it strong, and it will hold you up no matter how heavy the journey becomes. 7. Daily rituals. Your life is not built in grand moments of inspiration, but in the quiet repetition of your daily rituals. Success is never an accident. It is the result of small, deliberate actions repeated so often that they become part of who you are. What you do every day matters more than what you do once in a while. Your rituals are the invisible architecture of your future. They either pull you closer to your goals or push you further away. Most people think their life will change with one big decision, one lucky break, one burst of motivation. But the truth is, the future is shaped by the things you choose to do every single day, especially when no one is watching. Your rituals decide your energy, your focus, your discipline, your results. A strong morning ritual can set the tone for an entire day, just as a lazy, distracted start can drain your momentum before you even begin. A nightly ritual can prepare your mind for rest and reflection, while an unplanned evening can steal your time and leave you chasing sleep. The most successful people into habit, and habit into identity. Over time, the actions you repeat become the story you tell yourself about who you are. If your rituals are weak, your story will be weak. If your rituals are strong, your story will be strong. Building rituals is not about cramming more into your day. It's about deciding what matters most and making it non-negotiable. It's about removing decision fatigue by automating your priorities. When you commit to the same essential actions every day, training your body, sharpening your mind, feeding your spirit, moving toward your goals, you eliminate the chaos that keeps most people stuck. Your rituals will not always be exciting, but they will always be powerful. Because greatness is not built in moments of inspiration. It is built in the quiet, consistent, disciplined repetition of what matters most. Decide your daily rituals and you decide your future. 8. Accountability. Accountability is the mirror that shows you the truth about your actions, your progress, and your commitment. It is the discipline of facing reality without excuses, of admitting when you've fallen short, and of taking ownership for what you have and have not done. Most people run from accountability because it is uncomfortable. It exposes the gap between what they said they would do and what they actually did. But those who embrace it understand that accountability is not punishment. It is power. When you hold yourself accountable, you stop blaming circumstances, luck, or other people for your results. You take full responsibility for your life, and in doing so, you take control of it. Accountability demands honesty. It forces you to track your actions, measure your results, and face the truth of whether those actions are moving you toward your goals or keeping you stuck. Fear becomes a compass pointing toward growth instead of a wall that stops you. Sadness becomes a teacher, not a cage. Mastery over emotions is the difference between saying something that breaks a relationship and saying something that heals it, between quitting when it's hard and pushing through to victory, between living in regret and living with peace. Life will test you. People will provoke you. Circumstances will try to shake you. But when you own your emotions instead of letting them own you, you rise above the chaos. You choose your path, your words, your actions, and in doing so you choose your future. Because no matter how strong the storm, the calmest person in the room always has the most power. And that calm is not born from the absence of emotion. It is born from mastery. For persistence. Persistence is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It is the invisible thread that connects dreams to reality, the force that keeps you moving where it even matters. Those are the days persistence is forged. Those are the moments that shape champions. Persistence means running toward the storm instead of waiting for it to pass, knowing that every struggle makes you stronger, every failure teaches you something, every day you endure brings you closer to your goal. And when the finish line finally appears, when the weight you've carried for so long begins to lift, you will realize that the prize was never just the achievement, it was the person you became by refusing to stop. That is the true reward of persistence. 5. Delayed gratification. Delayed gratification is the art of trading what you want now for what you want most. It is the quiet strength to say no to short-term pleasure so you can say yes to long-term success. In a world that is addicted to instant rewards, where every desire can be satisfied with a click, a swipe, or a tap, the ability to wait has become rare, and that rarity is exactly what makes it powerful. Most people sacrifice their future for the comfort of the moment. They spend instead of investing, they quit instead of enduring, they choose the taste of now over the feast of later. And when the future arrives, they realize it is empty because they spent the seeds instead of planting them. Delayed gratification is the opposite. It is the patience to plant seeds today knowing the harvest will not come for months, years, or even decades. It is training your mind to see beyond the moment, to value the future more than the present impulse. It is telling yourself, I am willing to be uncomfortable now so I can be unstoppable later. The strongest people are not those who can push the hardest for a few days, but those who can quietly, consistently make sacrifices for a dream that no one else can yet see. They turn down distractions, they resist temptation, they keep working when others are celebrating early victories. And when the moment finally comes, when the years of discipline bloom into success, they enjoy it in a way the impatient never will because they earned it, they waited for it, they built it with their own hands. Delayed gratification is not about denying yourself joy. It is about choosing a greater joy over a lesser one. It is understanding that a moment's pleasure can cost you a lifetime of opportunity, but a moment's discipline can give you a lifetime of freedom. Every goal worth chasing, every dream worth building, every life worth living demands this skill. Because the truth is, the future will arrive whether you prepare for it or not. The question is, when it comes, will it be the future you dreamed of, or the one you settled for? 2. Control over your thoughts. Your mind is the battlefield where every victory and every defeat is decided long before the world ever sees the results. Every action you take, every word you speak, every habit you form begins as a thought. If you do not control your thoughts, they will control you. They will pull you into doubt, fear, and limitations until you start believing that those lies are reality. The greatest power you will ever possess is not physical strength, not wealth, not connections, but the ability to decide what you allow to live inside your mind. The world. The news, the gossip, the noise, the endless scroll of distraction. Their thoughts are not their own. they are borrowed from the loudest voice around them. But those who master their mind know that every day begins with a decision. Will I think with intention, or will I think on autopilot? When you take control of your thoughts, you take control of your destiny. The mind will wander, it will get pulled toward fear, doubt, and the stories you've been told since childhood. But you are not required to believe everything you think. You can choose what to keep and what to throw away. You can feed the thoughts that give you strength and starve the ones that weaken you. And with repetition, this becomes your natural state. Not chaos, but clarity. Not fear, but power. You become the gatekeeper, and no thought gets in without your permission. Every challenge in life will test this. Pressure will try to break it. The opinions of others will try to infiltrate it. But when you hold the line, when you guard the mind as if your life depends on it, because it does, you will find a freedom that few ever experience. The world cannot give it to you, and the world cannot take it away. Your circumstances may shift, storms may come, but your mind will remain your fortress. And from that fortress, you will choose thoughts of courage when fear calls, thoughts of patience when anger burns, thoughts of hope when the world feels dark. Control your thoughts, and you control the way you see the world. Control the way you see the world, and you control the way you move through it. Everything you dream of, everything you work for, everything you want to become begins with that choice. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. Because the moment you decide to take ownership of your mind is the moment you reclaim your life.